Think about the last time you had a disproportionate reaction to something small. Maybe you got cut off in traffic, maybe a friend cancels plans last minute, or someone gave you feedback and you felt it like a personal attack. Why did that moment trigger such a strong response when others might have just shrugged it off? The answer lies in our emotional DNA. It's the inherited patterns that are literally controlling our reactions, our relationships, and our decisions every single day. I'm going to show you exactly what this is and how to work with it instead of being controlled by it. Your emotional DNA is the inherited and learned emotional patterns, triggers, and responses that shape how you experience and express your emotions. It's passed down from many generations, and it's wired in by your early childhood experiences. And it may be running your life whether you realize it or not. Neuroscience shows that emotional patterns can literally be inherited. Your family didn't just pass down eye color and height, they also passed down anxiety, sensitivity, resilience, and specific ways of handling stress, conflict, and connection. That knot in your stomach when someone's upset with you, that's your emotional DNA. The way that you handle conflict in relationships, also emotional DNA. And how you respond to criticism, stress, or unexpected changes, all emotional DNA. Your emotional reactions aren't random. They're predictable patterns inherited from your family system. It's when you don't understand these patterns, they control your relationships, they control your stress levels, and how you navigate life's challenges. If you inherited anxiety DNA, like me, you might overthink every text message or avoid opportunities that feel risky. If you inherited avoidance DNA, you might struggle with boundaries or let resentment build up, and each pattern affects every area of your life. Most self-help focuses on changing your thoughts, your behaviors, but the emotional operating system running underneath is usually ignored. And you can learn all the communication skills in the world, but if your emotional DNA programming equates speaking up with danger, those skills won't stick. You've probably noticed this pattern. You know what healthy responses look like intellectually, but in the moment when you're triggered, you're stressed or in conflict, you default to inherited emotional patterns that might have kept you safe as a child, but don't serve your adult relationships or goals today. I want you to know your emotional DNA isn't your destiny, but it is your starting point. It's when you understand your emotional inheritance, what's been passed down to you, you can work with it strategically instead of being controlled by it unconsciously, reactively. We're now going to explore 4 types of emotional DNA patterns. By the way, I have a free quiz you can take, and you're going to figure out which of these 4 types are you, plus a complete DNA profile. So it really empowers you and you begin to understand these patterns, and you'll get a transformation path to how can you start rewiring and reprogramming this inherited design. The first type is the people pleaser pattern. So you inherited this belief that your worth depends on others' happiness. This pattern comes from families where emotional stability required constant accommodation of managing one person's needs or moods. And really the programming is that self-sacrifice equals safety. And this will impact your life. You'll be feeling exhausted from overgiving, difficulty expressing your needs, fear of disappointing others, and the resentment buildup. Second type is anxiety inheritance. So you might carry generational worries and hypervigilance. So this pattern originates from ancestors who faced real threats. They had to survive, and they passed down their survival anxiety, even when you're objectively safe. So the deeper emotional programming here is constant alertness equals survival. And the impact on your life with this pattern is overthinking, physical tension in the body, difficulty relaxing, and scanning for problems that may not exist. And sometimes we kind of create problems by doing this. Type 3, it's invisible child syndrome. So you learned early on that your needs, your emotions didn't matter. So this pattern creates high achievers who feel empty inside, constantly proving their worth through external success. And the deeper emotional programming with this type is invisibility equals protection. The negative impact on your life with this type is feeling unworthy despite achievements, difficulty asking for help, chronic emptiness, and imposter syndrome. The fourth type is the emotional fortress. You inherited the belief that emotional independence equals strength. This pattern comes from families where vulnerability was punished or emotions were seen as weakness. The deeper emotional programming here with this type is control equals safety. The negative impact on your life will be difficulty with intimacy, fear of being hurt, pushing people away before they get too close or when they start to get too close, and emotional isolation. So for you, which pattern resonates the most? And when you think back to your childhood dynamics and your family and how you respond to stress, relationships, and conflict today, you'll likely recognize one primary pattern, and that's your dominant emotional DNA showing up. Here's how to work with your emotional DNA. So we got to establish a pause practice. And here's what I mean. So next time when you feel triggered, pause and ask yourself, is this emotional response proportional to what's actually happening now? And what might my emotional DNA be telling me right now? So this little pause and talking to yourself, this creates choice instead of automatic reactioning. And it's almost like every time we react automatically, we strengthen these patterns. Step 2, reframing your story. Reframing is such a powerful technique. So instead of saying, I'm too anxious, try, I have a sensitive system that can be a gift when I learn to work with it. You see? Instead of, oh, I'm not assertive enough, try, I inherited conflict avoidance patterns, and I can learn direct communication while honoring my peaceful nature. The third step, which can be equally hard and rewarding, is creating new emotional experiences. So consciously practicing expressing your true feelings in healthy ways. Surround yourself, right, with emotionally aware people, because we become like the 5 people we spend the most time with. And it's so important for us to have community, right? Have teachers, mentors, and coaches, because that's how we change the fastest, the smoothest, and it makes this hard work more manageable and doable. And plus we can celebrate with others, our wins, our breakthroughs, and our breakdowns. And it's gonna be you developing self-compassion for your inherited patterns while creating new ones that serve your adult life today. Remember, your emotional DNA developed for a good reason, and also remember your ancestors who carried these same patterns that got passed down generation to generation. It's what helped them survive. It's what helped you survive a difficult childhood environment. So we can honor this while choosing what serves us now. And this is how real change happens. When you understand your emotional DNA, you stop being a victim of unconscious reactive patterns and start becoming the conscious author of your emotional life. So you can start by preparing for situations that activate your triggers. You can learn to respond instead of react. And you can break these generational cycles and create healthier patterns for yourself and future generations. And this isn't just your personal growth. It's emotional freedom that affects every relationship and decision in your life and your future. I hope this helps. If you're ready to understand exactly which of these 4 emotional DNA pattern types we've covered today, just go down and take my free quiz. It'll take you like 5 minutes to do. It's 12 questions. And then from there, I will send you your complete DNA profile and you'll really begin recognizing like, where did this pattern come from? How does it show up? And also transformational steps to start rewiring these programs today. Because it's really when we start to be aware, now we can change. And with emotional DNA, we can rewire it. It's not something that's with us forever, but it does require taking these next steps. So go and check out the quiz. And like always, thank you for being here. Thank you for learning with me. And I'm so proud of you.